Okay. Coming back to this process of getting to 400,000 of annual recurring revenue per employee, one of the processes that we've made actually the most progress on this year is the events process. So Offline runs events all over the country in all 10 of our cities. We have no staff in those markets that are part of those events, which is a huge change from before. And so we already had a process for doing this. And we used to have an entire team that worked on events, and we measured the success in terms of the number of people that showed up to events and the ratings that those events got. And none of that's changed. It's just that we've been able to pull out a lot of the operational work and build a combination of a platform and a series of AI enhancements that allow this to scale. And I'm now running this entire process myself, and I probably spend between 2 and 4 hours a week on it. So let me walk you through how it works right now. So we built a website on a subdomain, events.letsgetoffline.com. And one of the most important things that we wanted to do is we wanted to make the process of submitting an event to offline, saying you wanted to do an event with offline, something that was self-service. So this website, this landing page, plus this entire event submission process, this was all built using Claude Code and deployed as a subdomain to our main app website. And so a restaurant can come in here and they can, submit all their information. They can tell us about their goals. They can, give us all this structured data. And then what happens on my end if I go to the admin area, is that I see an unstarted submission. So again, this was all built with Claude Code. Nobody wrote a line of code to develop this platform. And so I can come in here and I can see an unstarted event submission. So this is one called the Goodyear House. This is a restaurant down in Charlotte. And this is my admin area. And I can see a workflow going all the way from submission to recap. And what's happened here is during that submission process, if I open my little data drawer over here, I can see the person that submitted it. And what the system has done is it's gone ahead and searched HubSpot to identify that person. And I can go ahead and link them and assign them multiple roles. And then let me go to the next stage. So we've gone ahead and created a HubSpot deal in our events pipeline, linked the contact in the company. We've also linked the offer. Offline is a partner already with the Goodyear House, and we've pulled all that data from the offline backend into this events portal so I can see that if I need it. And then that gets me here. So I'm preparing the internal draft. So everything up until this point has essentially become self-service. If I go back to how we used to do things, getting to the point where we were even creating a draft for an event was sometimes multiple sales calls, explaining our value proposition, collecting all of this structured data. And we just kind of turned these three pieces into a self-service platform so that now a lot of the human effort starts with the draft creation. So if I want to go in here and create a draft, this data structure lives in a separate database. So this platform has to talk to offline's backend, has to pull data in from offline's backend and allow us to manipulate it here. And we did this because we wanted to be able to use the new tooling without messing with our kind of canonical huge code base that runs the main offline app. So if I click create and link an event, this is going to go ahead and push to offline's other database. Hey, we want to make this new event. We want to do this with a Goodyear House. And so we'll go ahead and link that. Now I need to make the draft, right? And again, this was a massive human cost center for us to have people that could write well enough, that could understand the restaurant. We used to have to interview the owner to ask all these different questions. Now we do this with a couple of prompts. So inside of my ChatGPT instance, I have a custom GPT called Event Draft GPT. And what I've done here is all I've done is gone to data, grabbed the form completion data as structured JSON and pasted it in here. And the model goes ahead and creates a rough draft of the event. I then run it through a QA prompt, which I'm going to blur just to keep some secret sauce in this process. And then here is the final draft. And I copy this. I also copy the URL and I go back over here to the site and I hit the data drawer. I go over here to ChatGPT. I save this link. So rather than trying to get an agent to write these event drafts, which is really hard, like ChatGPT goes above and beyond with custom prompts to allow their actual ChatGPT product to be really, really good. It's really hard to recreate that with their API. So we still have this kind of human process of copying data, pasting it into ChatGPT, copying it back. But by saving the URL, if I ever want to get back to the conversation that I was having about this event, it's right there and it's easy for me to grab. So I'm going to shut that drawer and then I hit import from document. I'm going to paste in this event. I'm going to hit parse. And then that ChatGPT output has now been parsed into structured data that can fill up the draft. So I'm going to import that. And then you can see the name, the kind of description, which is like a teaser, the event write-up, the important information. All of that has been parsed. Now remember, I'm in a separate database than offline. I have a different set of data in this events app. I need to get it to offline's backend. So Taylor has built this kind of set of push and pull features. So now I can sync to Rails. And this is going to push the information into the offline backend so that now when I open up the offline backend, I can see that that structured data is now integrated into offline's kind of CMS. This is a our own CMS. That's why it's so ugly. All right. And then the other thing I can do, because we already work with the Goodyear House and I want some, content for this, right? I want videos, I want photos, I want the Instagram handle, the website link. I can click import and I can actually import all of this data from the offer that we have running with the Goodyear House. And this is all going to show up right here in the event. So now even with like starting and stopping to try to record this process, I'm like 10 minutes in maybe. And if I click the share button to get a preview of this, I've already got like a pretty decent event right here that is almost ready to go. So now I'm going to go back over here to the event side. I'm going to pull from Rails this time so that I can suck in all of that stuff that I just added on the Rails end. I'm going to save. And now down here, all of this data has been pulled in from Rails. I've got the structured address, I've got the market, and the last couple of things to be determined, and this is where I have to go back and talk to the partner, is what's the guest count going to be? What's the seating? And these are questions that the restaurant needs to answer. So what we've built is a series of questions, and we manage these in the admin area. And so I can generate those questions, and then I can kind of add to them or delete any of the ones that don't apply. And now if I click move to draft admin, I have a draft page that the partner can review. It has all of this information in it. It has a link to the preview, and the partner can essentially come in here and like continue their self-service journey. So you can kind of think about all the stuff that I just did as like the human in the loop currently. That's creating the draft, linking it to the offline backend. And there's still steps that have to be done that we haven't automated yet. But in 10 minutes essentially of work, I've gone from a partner expressing interest in doing an event with us to a full-on event draft ready to go, ready to be reviewed by the partner, ready for them to self-serve the answer to these questions, submit them back to me, and then we can kind of continue the process from there.